NBC 10 News starts with breaking news.
That breaking news out of the Vatican, where Pope Francis has now been laid to rest. His funeral services started at 4 o'clock this morning. This is video when his coffin was sealed last night ahead of his services. His services concluding right as we speak. And you are taking a live look over the Vatican now this morning, St. Peter's Square, where just hours ago, hundreds of thousands of people came to pray for the soul of Pope Francis, as well as pay their respects and watch the ceremony that unfolded this morning. And we are joined this morning by, would you like to introduce yourself?
James Keating from Providence College.
Yeah, and you are a divinity professor. What does that mean?
Well, theology, we call it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I teach theology. I also teach the history of the papacy.
Okay.
So this is one of my interests.
Absolutely. And today is a very significant and historical day. What does it mean to you to see this unfold this morning?
It's not the first one I've seen. So, you know, you celebrate the life of a pope, a very significant pope, and you think about his effect upon the church. And then, of course, there's no way around it. You also think of what comes next.
And what is that? That's such a broad question, but what is next for the Catholic Church?
Well, the Catholic Church has a long-standing way of replacing popes. And it's basically this college of cardinals. They're the guys in the red, right? And they come together in the Sistine Chapel. They lock the door with the key, which is why it's called a conclave.
Yes.
And they keep voting till they come up with a pope.
And there's white smoke, there's black smoke, there's a lot of visuals that go into this as well. And that next pope, no matter who you hear from, you might hear some speculation as to who that will be. We don't know that answer yet.
Right.
But if there's somebody who sees differently than Pope Francis did, would they roll back necessarily some of the progress that he's made in certain areas? Or could they?
The Catholic Church likes to emphasize continuity, so probably not. There will be a change. Every pope is different from every other pope. Even Benedict XVI was a close follower and collaborator of John Paul II. He was different. He wanted to do things differently. He had been witnessing it, and it was like, okay, I'll do things a little bit differently than my predecessor did. Francis obviously was even more different than that. He really wanted to set a new tone, a different kind of tone for the papacy. I suspect what we'll get with the next pope, I don't know who it is, no one does, it will be some of Francis and some of his immediate predecessors.
And do you see someone, you know, leading the charge more so than any of the other possible options?
There's an old saying in Rome that if you go into a conclave as the pope, you leave a cardinal. So there isn't a favorite.
All right. I guess we will just have to see what happens. A very historic, a very emotional day for so many Catholics out there to see the procession, the open hearse of Pope Francis this morning proceed to St. Mary's Major this morning.
Yeah, Francis loved this church. He loved this icon of the church, and Mary, the salvation of the Roman people. He always visited it. Popes haven't been buried there for a while.
Yeah.
Goes back to the 17th century. But he wanted to be buried there. It's an extremely beautiful church. It's very elaborate. What's interesting about Francis is he wants a very simple tomb.
Yes.
If you go in there, you see these papal tombs that are really quite extraordinary.
Ornate, yeah.
Very ornate. And he wants something different, but he wants to be buried there, which is why they transferred the body there.
Absolutely. Mr. Keating, thank you so much for joining us
Certainly.
this morning.